dedication to someone through your life is not the same as a piece of paper that says, if you decide to leave, this is what you're gonna have. This is what you owe me. That's what it is. Because you can just part your ways and go about your life.
Let me say something to that briefly, Mz.Polly. Now you know me, y'all already know. I'm always going to take that cross and I'm gonna turn it into a star. If you know me listening to it, and I get what you're saying. You know, I've spoken about it before. My cousin Barry, it's my first cousin on my father's side. He's been with Vita, I think maybe about 30 something years plus. My cousin Barry, he's my older cousin, so I'm like, well, I'm 42. He's about 57. Him and Barry been him and Vita been together since I was like 15. You understand? So my point is, God dang it, I just spilled my drink. So my point is that nothing has ever stopped them from being together. They're still together to this very moment, and they don't have any contract between them. There's nothing that tells them how they're supposed to be with one another. So my point is that to land it, if you really believe that you need a contract to keep a marriage together, you already failed. If you need a piece of paper to tell you what you're supposed to do, instead of you just knowing what's supposed to be spiritually intact, it already failed. And that's my personal opinion. Rock out.
Exactly. So why get it? No purpose.
I just want to hear what the brother Ruthless Truth got to say. Then we can just go back to you, and then we can just rock out from there. Ruthless Truth, anything you want to share, bro? Then we're gonna continue the dialogue.
Good evening to the panel. You know what I mean? Long time no see for a few of you guys up here.
Salute.
Salute. Good evening. Good
evening. Marriage is today isn't what marriage was yesterday. So should we get rid of it? No, I don't think you need to get rid of it. It's for those who want to take the risk. It's those who feel like, because different people marry for different reasons, right? Some people marry for,
gosh, bro.
You know, some people marry for please their family. Some people marry for financial security. Some people marry for like to make it, I guess, go to the next level with love or whatever, or dedication, show of dedication. Some people marry for position, power, right, like in politics. So there are a lot of different. Marriage is used as a tool within itself. So but I think it only should be there as advisory. Enter at your own risk. Is it a contract? Yes. You need a contract for the government to referee. You know, your breakup. Fine. But is it necessary? The question is marriage necessary? No. Marriage is not necessary for the human race to go forward. Babies will continue to be born, and co-parenting is becoming a new norm, right? As far as the baby mamas and the fathers, they're learning to deal with each other from a distance. Yeah. So, do I think marriage is ideal? I mean, it depends on your position. If you're a woman, it's more ideal because it is I think Mz.Polly was talking about the consequence for one's leaving. So it does make the man more liable if he leaves her, right? So it gives her more assurance. But the problem with marriage is it doesn't give women consequences or equal consequences or any at all, right? They get the kids. They're going to be awarded the money in 96, 97% of the cases. And they're going to get awarded the custody. The custody's off top. They get the custody. They get 100% of custody. Then the man goes to court to negotiate, whether it be 50-50, 60-40, whatever, right? So, yeah, for the women, it bears very little consequence, just maybe not having a man in the house. That's about it. And for the men, be costly and stressful because now you have to deal with her dictating when you can come see the child. So, in essence, I do believe in this conversation, I will have to point to the men that we do have to evolve and understand that marriage is not necessary. It's not absolute. The baby mama thing is never going to stop ever. and we have to learn to accept that, right? Women, they change. Men, we change, right? So just because you marry somebody in 95 don't mean the same they're gonna be the same in 2025, right? So it's a gamble, just like any relationship, right? It's a gamble that are you willing to take and you willing to risk. If you feel that this is the one you want to risk it with and risk it all for, I'm not gonna shame you. You know what I mean? I'll support you. I'll just tell you, be careful, but yeah, do what you do. To land a plane, I believe that co-parenting is, okay, shout out to Cam Newton, right? Shout out to Cam Newton. Single parent, co-parenting is the evolution of the society.
All right, well, brother, thank you for sharing that. All right, Mz.Polly, it's on you.
No, you gonna let them go. What do you mean,
So
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
oh,
Wait. I want to hear what Mz.Polly got to say. Mz.Polly, go ahead and pick it
Wait,
up.
but Conrad never went.
Oh, you want Conrad to go next?
I mean, he never went to answer the question. You know,
Oh,
that's all.
okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
um, I think I don't know if the question as it stands, I wouldn't say it's incorrect or correct. I think it's a blurred line question where we have to decide, as Smitty said, why are we reaching for somebody else? You know, when I was getting married, out of everything that the marriage and the wedding entailed, I had totally forgot that I had to sign this piece of paper. And when I say that to say this is that piece of paper weighed no significance to me based on the foundation and the principles that me and my wife built our relationship on. And so the aspect of the contract being a proverbial noose for a man, for me, I can't, if I'm speaking honestly and transparently, I cannot say for me that holds any weight, because I've never been shaken by that. Now, but I'm also in Canada. There's a different way of life up here, right? Whereas in America, I feel, and what I've observed is that the courts work overtime to appeal to what can be presented as plight of a woman, even in this modern day society. And so I say that to say this, is that I feel as if there's more fear mongering concerning the contract. And as Smitty said, we are not focused on the actual mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical intent of two individual people. Are we looking for happenstance, or are we looking to actually create something that is generational? When I got married, it was to create generational. The contract is of no significance individually to me. And somebody could easily come up and say, well, brother, your wife could do this and could leave with your money and this and that and da. Again, to me, that is of no consequence to me because of the foundation of my relationship with my wife. But I was also very intentional to find somebody who aligned with my foundational principles, and we share those same foundational principles and are able to grow with each other and love each other and push each other on to better individually for the collective view. I yield.
I would like to say something. I guess.
Hold on, Steve, hold on.
Sure,
Mz.Polly, do you want to elaborate on anything?
I mean, I just think, like I already, I don't think too much different than, like you said, like it's not necessary. That's all I'm trying to say. It's no longer, especially to this youth, it's no longer what everyone keeps trying to push. And I mean, I know that makes people feel some kind of way. But at the end of the day, if you care about somebody, you want to be with them, you gonna be with them. It got nothing to do with none of the other stuff. And to be honest, person who's there regardless of what will happen if I'm not with you is more valuable to me than a person who is there and just hoping, oh shoot, I hope my financial situation changes. I hope that, these kids are, when they turn 18, they hurry up so I can get the hell out of here. Like, no, I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. And that's what the contract to me kind of in this mindset. And it kind of ruins the experience of the idea that you could have unconditional love with someone. It's basically saying most things are conditional. And I understand why people are going to say, yeah, that's very true. And I'm not talking about the conditions where it's like, hey, you know what? You do this for me, I do this for you. We work together, we're a team. Most conditional connections are about things that are changeable, very changeable. Or you have to keep paying this, or you gotta, and if you're not doing that, things change, things happen, and you about to dip because it's not what you want it to be. And the contract holds not the same weight, like they said before. I think it was Conrad who said, like, it could have been ruthless. At the end of the day, the men who are the ones who ask for marriage, it's not worth the loss for them because women don't have the same loss that takes place. And women can argue all you want, but it's just not. I mean, it's just not. So it's different even on the women's side. Sometimes that is a big thing, but for the most part, men will take the bigger part of that hit. And for the youth, that's not something that the people who initiate marriage want to participate in a contract where they're in a constant place of worry. And I'll just put this last part out there is you see this starting to happen a lot when you see, and I'm not trying to say it's everybody, but these athletes and things like that, where they'll start getting divorces and you'll see them go to court. And some of these men are not even putting things in their name, having their mother, having their family members have things in their name so that when they have a break like this, it's an equal loss. So that means you set it up so that you knew that this fell out, this was going to happen. So it's all set up in my opinion, the wrong reason why you would be with someone. It's just like you're there for those good things, but you're just waiting for the wrong thing to happen. And that's just wild. You let your mom sign on your stuff, you don't own nothing, so she won't get it. But if just in case you break up,
Mz.Polly,
that's wild.
Miss,
Go ahead.
yeah. See, oh boy. This is a huge problem right here. Not you and what you're saying. The fact that you even know these type of experiences exist. Now, from what I know, the number one question was, why don't marriages last? Now, I asked the average person who wants to be married, why do you want to be married? Why do you either want to be a wife or a husband? I was asked that question before. You know what my answer was? And still to this moment, as a man who will be a husband, I only want to be a husband because I all the way 100% got my all the way together. I want to be a husband because I'm looking to be of servitude to someone. Marriages don't last because both parties must go into it knowing this fact. When you say got something in his mother's name, you're not ready to get in no marriage, let alone a relationship. I don't even think you're ready to be cool with a homie. You need to go isolate. What you need to do is go find yourself. When you go into a marriage, when you go into a relationship, when you go into anything, if your number one thought is not, what can I bring to the table for you? What can I do to enhance your peace, your happiness? It's going to fail. If I come into the circumstance and I say, my love, I took this time. I've been through my bumps and bruises in life. I went through my coping and healing process, and I'm now ready. I'm financially stable. My home is put together. Everything is set. And all I want is for you to be by my side and just enjoy the rest of this ride throughout our days. That's it. And that woman is supposed to come into the circumstance the exact same way. My love, me as well. I've been through my bumps and bruises. I'm now here. I am at a point where all I want to do is I just want to pour into you. So guess what? Picture it like that rotating fountain, you know, the little teacups. You got one cup that fills up and it pours into the next, and you got the little lake at the bottom and it just rotates. No cup is ever really empty because each cup continuously pours into itself. The lake at the bottom is everything that you all build together. You continuously have an abundance to pour into each other because you both came into the situation already fully set. Get your in order before you talk. I know we want to be married. I know we just can't wait to get online and tell people, look at me and my new bae. Slow down. Slow down. Take a moment and really think about what it is that you're trying to go for. But most importantly, why? And with that being said, I digress. My mic is muted. So I'm streaming this on my channel as well. So this is also on
Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. The more the merrier. We here.
You already know. Yeah. I opened up.
Well. Definitely, bro. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Salute to Emily Altair. I see you're in my chat. I definitely gonna give you a wrench, family. You know what I mean? Thank you for showing me love. I'm gonna show you love right back. Listen, man. I ain't want to do this, man. I was trying to be chill this whole stream. I really wasn't gonna say much, right? I was gonna let y'all talk for the most part. I'm gonna let y'all do your thing. But man, y'all forced me to be the villain tonight, man. You forced me to do it. I didn't want to do this. Look, man, I'm just gonna be honest. Half people that get into marriage don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't. All right. It all sounds good. Y'all making it sound all fluffy and nice and cool. Even in the comments, you're making it sound all nice and cool. But half of it, y'all don't know what y'all doing. Most of y'all don't know what y'all doing. You're hoping that these things will work out. You're hoping this person don't change. You're hoping they don't lose their career or their job. You're hoping they still stay in shape. You're hoping that the sister still keep her shape. You're hoping that the brother can still do what he do in the bedroom. You're hoping that these kids act right. You're hoping, you know what I mean, that all these things turn out right. But let me tell you something. Just from experience and from what I've seen, it will not. Okay? Then something will go wrong. Somebody gonna pass away. You may lose a parent. You may lose a child. You may lose both. Okay? That's the reality. I'm giving you straight reality. Y'all like to sugarcoat this marriage thing. It just irritates me. It irritates the hell out of me. Because it's not this fantasy candy thing that y'all always, you act like you're walking through Disney World or Disneyland, you're holding hands and Mickey Mouse is singing and all that. Yeah, that's some of it, but for the most part, you're gonna life, okay? And you're gonna go through some harsh realities. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second.
So I'll fill in while he's doing whatever. You just let me know when you back, bro. Look, the fact is this again. That's why I went back to the tough talks. You know what people are scared of? Another reason why relationships don't last is because people are very, very scared to just come into it and be who they are. You know, a lot of us go through a lot of ridicule, a lot of judgment. A lot of us got skeletons in our closet. I've never met somebody who don't got some shit with them at some point if you around our age. All right. So let's just go with like the 35 and up club. Those of us around this entire age range and generation, you cannot go into the circumstance thinking you're gonna hold back. Prepare to have your feelings hurt. Prepare to be hurt. Prepare to not be accepted. You know, a lot of times I hear people, they be like, yeah, man, I've been with this person all this time. Come to find out they do this, they do that. And I'm saying to myself, what were you looking at? What questions did you ask? Did you tap in? Were you just looking at this person with these, or did you also look with this? We always usually have circumstances nowadays where you'll have people that just simply, they want to hide. You know how we say people come to the relationship with what? The mask, the representative. Man, I've come across circumstances where it's like people got 4-5 different internet pages, several different names. I don't have all of that. When you meet me, you meet me. When you're around me, you experience me. Nothing else. From the time I would say Ruthless, Mz.Polly, so besides the fact that I might have calmed down some, right? Because I know y'all remember I used to be a little more rough with it. But real talk though, since the time that you met me, have I changed? Y'all know me for some years now. My point is,
Yeah, you changed.
Shut up, Ruthless.
I can't let you just get this off, man.
You already know. Look. I was waiting for you, bro. I was waiting on.
I got to be some pushback. God damn, Smitty.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I don't mean to be doing that, but like real talk though, that's why I like to take that cross and turn it into a star, make that thing shine.
I just want to just interject here though.
Nah, go ahead. I ain't got nothing else to say. I was just filling in for soap, bro. I was just trying to.
I'm not in total disagreement with you saying, right? But I do honestly believe that people do go in with that, particularly for the men who's investing all this money and time and resources.
You saying they do go in with a mask
on? Positive or in hopes that this is the one, right? Even though everything don't line up all the way all the time, right?
Right.
And they take the gamble, right? It's a gamble. It's like, you know what? I'm going to gamble on that. This love can carry us to a better place. So yeah, most people have that inspiration or aspiration before they get married? Or most of the men, yeah, like you put in that big ass ring on her finger and you getting on one knee. That is a sign of humiliation and gambling, right? You're humiliating yourself in public, potentially, right? She says, "Fuck you," no, right? You're thinking that
Ruthless. No. Wait.
So
no.
Not tonight.
Ruthless, not tonight, Ruthless. We're not going to do the extremes, Ruthless. Not tonight.
No, it's not extreme. I'm just talking about a chance.
You said, what if that man?
But it is an extreme.
It is, bro.
It is very much an extreme,
bro. Like, why are we doing that, bro? You said you would. I don't want to take a chance of trying to get.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I'm not. When I'm saying it, we're putting it all on the line, for the most part, with our resources, our pride, our feelings, everything on the line, in hopes. Right? It's all about hope.
Hey, Ruthless. Let me. Ruthless, please, bro.
Why would I commit to somebody, anybody that I'm not going to put it on the line for?
No,
what did I really get in this for? Because this is why this generation is not working.
Let me land the plane and be generous, right?
You know what? Let him get it off. Let him get it off. Go ahead, Rufus. I know what to expect. I know Rufus. Go ahead, Rufus.
I'm not sitting here saying that, you're not going to put it on the line. I'm just saying is what Smitty was talking about. He was pointing all those points of hope and feelings and building, all those things. The man is going to be most likely put the most on the line, right? Because of he's putting the most resources in and he's putting the most time. We can equal out the time, but it also he could be embarrassed, right? She said no, but the point I'm making is anyone, in my opinion, who crossed that threshold and go into that level of a relationship where they want to put a ring on it and make this commitment is to a degree taking the biggest step in life, right? It's a big step. And the problem is, a lot of people, when they get in that situation, everything, they get the wedding and everything is done, right? They come to find out that it's a hard place to climb and everybody can't really make it. Everybody really can't make that climb. So this is where we are having a conversation about the evaluation of love, right? The value of what have we evaluated through the numbers and anecdotal experiences. Because we see people who look happy get divorced. We see people who never say anything, last for 20 years. We see it all, right? So that's all I'm saying, right? It's a gamble, and if you're willing to put it all on the line for this one person, then that speaks volume.
Ruthless, when you said Man, wow, that was a lot. All right, I'll just go with One Piece. Conrad, whatever you want to tap in on, cool. So Ruthless, you know one thing I know about most of the time when a man proposes finally, you want to know why? Because usually that man has gotten hint after hint from that woman. The woman usually will make it very, very clear what she wants. Oh man, all of a sudden she just keeps showing you like baby pictures. She just keeps showing you like, oh, isn't this dress nice? Wouldn't it be nice to have a honeymoon there? Ruthless. If you wound up getting on your knee and you propose to a woman that turns around in public and says, F you, my G, you missed a lot of steps from like day one. Bro, that's a lot you missed. See, this is what I mean. Hold on real quick to land it. So this is what I mean by when we miss steps, when we try to put the entire formula together, but we be like leaving out key ingredients. Bruh, whatever it is that had that woman say, F you, I ask you as a man, you didn't know that she said F you long before you got on your knee? You ain't know her whole demeanor to you was F you, bruh? How you not pick that up until you had to get on one knee at the stadium in the middle of the football game at halftime? And you had to be on Summer Jam screen and you had to get embarrassed in order for you to know her demeanor was F you. You serious right now? Then that's your damn fault.
Well, the suffering. Okay, I'm not saying
you got it, Conrad.
I'm not point blaming nobody. What I'm saying is, it's just a hell of a risk, man. And I commend anybody to take it. I'm not getting
but
nobody.
Ruthless and to the whole panel, is it not within a man's nature at some point in his life to mitigate risk, even the risk of his own self?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. So let me give you transparency and honesty. When I met my wife, when she was just single and I was single, we talked for about 6 months. I took her to one of my favorite little spots to chill out. And I sat her down. I said, look, I'm starting to develop some feelings for you. But this is where my mind is. I'm not doing the breakup to make up. We're not an R&B record. I'm not Usher. Right? This is where I would like to go. And this is where I'm going to go. And based on the amount of time I've already invested in you and that you've invested in me, I don't need to make another choice. So based on that, where are you at? She said, I'm with you. And I said, okay, let's explore what that means. That means we got X amount of time to get this and that together, build this and that together. At this specific date and time, you will be engaged. Within this specific time and time, the wedding will have been finished. We move on. I said, you have a choice. And it's not a fear-mongering tactic. It's just exactly where I am. You can say no, but you got to say no now. You don't get to say no when I give you a ring. You don't get to say no at the altar. You get to say no right now. Now, why did I use such strong terminology and verbiage? Because oftentimes, and Smitty mentioned this earlier, and I firmly agree, we lack the intestinal and mental fortitude to maintain what we reached for. In other words, we weren't really reaching for what we thought we were reaching for. And that's what you're speaking about, Ruthless, that hope. But Smitty, and I agree with Smitty, Smitty's talking about an I know. And a person that knows is different than a person that hopes, which is why people that are getting into these quote unquote modern relationships that are searching for an experience, they're not searching for they're not trying to be served, and they're not trying to serve. Servant leadership is a different type of leadership. It is, I give my back for you, but I do not give my back for you or to you blindly.
So, Conrad, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, just to get clarification.
Wait, I got to step in. Right? Let me step in, right? Because
the wilderness.
Yeah, I got to step in, man. Salute to 18 3307. Right, peace, prosperity to everyone. Definitely. And once I step in, Mz.Polly, I want you to take it from here. But or whoever else. But this is my thing, right? Yes, you know what I mean. Yes, it is a risk, right? And we understand it's a risk, or whatever. But everything we do is based on faith. We having faith that this person is not going to leave. We're having faith that the vetting process is going to work. We're having faith that these things are going to work out. We have faith that these things are going to work out, right? It's our faith that makes us say, hey, I vetted. I believe this person is the real deal. But we don't really know what's really going to happen. We have faith that these things will work out, right? You have faith that when you walk out the door, that you're going to make it back home. This is based on faith. You don't know what's going to happen throughout your day. You really don't know. But you're having faith that these things will happen. You know what I mean? So, yes, no matter how much you vet, no matter how much you try to find out what this person is and what they're doing, it's really based on your faith that it will turn out the way you want it to turn out. It's not really based on anything else. You know what I mean? And yes, you may love this person. You may think that this is going to be that and that. I've had faith that a lot of things are going to happen. Even here in social media, I've had faith that this was going to work out in social media or that wasn't going to work out or whatever, and it turned out to be whatever it was. Sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. It was what it was. I did my part though, right? So I think that's the end all and be all when it comes to vetting. If you do your part, right, no matter what the results are, you can live with the results. If you don't do your part, then yeah, the results may not sway in your order, right? Or they might. Who knows? Right? You know what I mean? Some people get fool's gold, right? They ain't really vet that much. They ain't really know too much about them. They went with their gut feeling of them really loving or caring about this person, and they've been together for 50 years or whatever else, right? So we all going based on faith, and we know a lot of times if you go, and I hate to go to the back in the day marriage, but I have to use that as an example. We know a lot of times it wasn't all this vetting and all that back in the day. If you lived in a small town and she came from a small town and so did you, and y'all went to the same school, hey, boom, y'all decided to marry each other. Your families knew each other. Y'all got along well. Hey, she look cute. You think he look handsome? You know what I mean? He get a job. Cool. Let's get together. We get along. We grew up together. Let's get together. Let's have some babies. Let's build a family. Hell, that's how one of my grandparents got together. Just like that. Came from a small town, right in the South. He got a job. She was down there. She thought he was all right. She thought he was all right, and they got married. They stayed together for 50 years. All right. So we all are going based on faith and what we believe through our information that we have that it's going to work, or that we should take a chance. You know what I mean? With romance or whatever else we got in our mind, that this is gonna work. Mz.Polly, it's on you, and then anybody else can take it from there. Mz.Polly, go ahead.
I mean, I, I mean, I let y'all go ahead because to be honest, I mean, I hear what y'all saying. It teach their own. I mean, I still stand on business. Like I said, to me, at the end of the day, there's only those two factors. There's nothing else, and no one's ever brought me anything that could prove me different. So, at this point, it just is what it is.
I just want
That's how I
to
feel about it.
add on to Best's point of, I agree with him, the gamble part, right? It is, right? What somebody is in 1 year, they might not be in your chin. So, hey, but it's worth it, man. I mean, hey, I know one thing. When I was trying out for basketball and playing basketball, I knew it was a slight chance I go to the NBA, but I enjoyed every part of the journey. Even though I didn't make it, even though I was, you know what I mean, I fell short of my dream, I enjoyed it, though. I put the work in. I was there ready to go. If things broke my way, and it quite didn't, and I just moved on in life. So it's the same thing in everything, right? Even marriage. You know, hey, I enjoy the woman while you can. And Lord, I mean, hey, if it lasts for the next 50 years, hey, congratulate. If it lasts for only 10 years, you got to take that memory with you and put it in the bank. Because every journey, just because a journey doesn't mean it's going to last forever. Every journey ain't built the same, right? People like to project their story, but every story ain't the same, right? All stories have different endings. So I really appreciate, the guys who get divorced, when women leave them. You know why I appreciate it? Not that I'm rooting for them to get divorced, but it gives a balance of life to understand that I can take this L and still come back and still be me and still be happy and still live my life and enjoy. I regret that the marriage was lost, but hey, I enjoyed it while I could. So this is, I think, the mindset men have to go in dealing with these modern women, man. You have to draw them while it lasts.
Doesn't it behoove men to understand themselves to make sure that they're making a choice that won't take away from the strength, the energy, and the focus that they're putting out, though? Like,
Well,
this is how my grandfather raised. This is let me land this plane and I'll toss it back.
No, I was just asking, was that a question or a statement?
Well, no, it's a question.
Okay.
Isn't it up to a man to mitigate the risk that could either contaminate or impact his focus, his time, and his energy?
Yes, and the man will always do that, especially when he's spending his money.
So if it's up to a man to mitigate a risk that will impact his time, his focus, and his energy, would that not include any woman that he interacts with, regardless of what the agreement or the contract or the focus or the commitment is?
Yeah.
So then,
sorry, sir.
Go ahead, Smitty.
No, I'm just curious, Ruthless. Do you believe that men are investors? Just like you know, that's like a second nature to just want to invest, to want to put our all into a project, if you want to say.
We are, by nature and by growth of parenting, we are providers. It's what we do.
That wasn't the question. Right? Ruthless.
In providing, right?
Here you go.
Resources and stuff is investing in that, in whatever it is, the woman, a marriage.
Ruthless, yes or no? Do you believe men are investors? Do you believe like a second feature for us to just want to invest in things, whether it's stocks, project?
This is what we do.
Huh?
We do. It's what we do.
Okay, so Ruthless, guess what? To what Brother Conrad is saying, everything he's saying in a nutshell is us as men, like anything else in life, that woman is our investment. But watch this. We only invest in the woman in which we see is a suitable fit. If that woman is able to give us the one thing that we can't put our hands on, the one thing that makes her very special, right? We can go on trips with anybody. We can look good online with anybody. But when that woman gives you something that you know and you recognize, man, I can't get this nowhere else. Nobody, for the most part. And if I do find it, Lord knows if I'll get it again in this lifetime. That's when us as men set into that creature of habit routine and we invest in that woman and we give our all. And at that point, the only thing we are concerned about is pouring into. We don't concern about the loss, like Brother Conrad said. Why? Because when a man is totally self-sufficient, even if we lose, the only thing we really lost was nothing.
But if he loses his kids,
wait. Let me finish.
It's worth it.
Ruthless. We gained the experience. You got to understand something. When you a man of means, a man of purpose, a man of direction and trajectory, no situation that other people will look at as a loss is a loss to you. We only gain wisdom. We only grow. We only become stronger and more robust.
That's what I'm saying.
So why are you talking about being scared to get on one knee? Why are you speaking about all of these extreme fears?
So let me clarify, right? I did not say scared. It's called being scared, and it's called being more wiser, or being more inherent, aware, right, of what you're getting into, having a understanding, right? Because this is the age of information, right? With social media, Google, we have information right before our eyes, and we're looking at the landscape, and we're becoming more aware, and with awareness becomes more wiser before we put ourselves in vulnerable positions to potentially have a lot of chaos, right? So, right, vetting is something that is a tool, but it's not a guarantee.
Let me
Right.
ask you a question, Ruthless, because we got a timer. In your personal opinion, what would you say are the, I don't know, top 3 or 5, however you want to describe it? How should a man properly vet? Why don't you tell us right now? And I'm not being facetious or nothing. I'm actually curious as to what your thought process is, considering what you've said thus far tonight. So when you vet, what is it that you go for, that you vet? Like, how do you do it?
Well, I mean, you're just going for the highest probability, right? What is the probability of us making it for the foreseeable future? It's not a guarantee, but it is a probability, right?
Ruthless, I asked a specific question. So
So we look when we're vetting. The best way to vet is look at the probability. Can you guys get along? Can you guys communicate? Right? But once again, the way a person is in year 1, they may not be the same in year 8. People change, and this is where we're having the division amongst men and women right now. Right? The high breakup rate, the high divorce rate, because people come with their best foot forward, and they are invested. Then all of a sudden, within the journey, you know what? I'm not happy anymore, and bye. So, and this is at all levels, not only the poor people but the rich people. It's no
Ruthless, you're not answering the question. You got 1:30, sir, and counting. We're down to 1:28. Ruthless, answer the question. When a man vets, you yourself, if I listen, I'm your nephew. Let's role play. All right, damn, I gotta hurry. 1:17. I'm your nephew. I come to you, hey uncle, man, I got this chick I like. What would you say I'm supposed to do to vet and make sure that she's wife material? What do you tell me as your nephew? Go, Ruthless.
I say, be careful. I mean, make sure that you understand.
I do that when crossing the street.
But make sure. I'm just saying self-awareness. I'm teaching.
You do that getting out of the bed. You don't want to fall.
Yeah, actually, what I would tell them. I'm telling you what you want me to do. Right? I would tell them. I'm not going to. I will support your decision that this is the woman you want to, whatever with. But just be aware and understand to know that there's a potential of danger in the horizon. That's it.
Uncle, I love you. You know you my mama's brother. You know you my favorite uncle. You ain't tell me shh.
I just told you to be careful. Watch out. Oh, here she comes.
How do I vet the woman to make sure
man eater
she is wife material?
And you no guarantees, Eddie. I can give no guarantees because
I didn't ask you for a guarantee.
Yes,
I didn't listen. That wasn't the question. The question is, hey, uncle, I'm your 20-something-year-old nephew. I like. I'm done. I don't.
One thing, my brother Rufus for coming through in the building, man.
I don't have nothing to say.
You know what I'm saying? He always represents Rufus. Thank you for coming through, man. Thank you for coming through. We gotta move on. We gotta move on.
No. You good. I think I got about, just so you know, I probably got about, I don't know, 5-10 more minutes. I'm about to fire my own live up, just so you know. So I'm just, I'm kind of kicking away with you right now.
Got you.
You good, bro. You good. Go ahead.
Salute to Lady Novea. Know what I mean? No, he didn't run. You know what I mean? We have to move forward in the conversation. You know what I mean? We gotta move forward.
He hightailed. No. Don't save him. The nigga ran. Okay.
But I appreciate him coming through. I really do. Ruthless, I appreciate you coming through, man. I really do. You know what I mean? But so I want to take this, forward. I want to move the conversation forward. Mr. Bryan said, is she a woman who puts God first? Is she a woman who has no problem being led by a man who has purpose? What kind of character she's displaying, et cetera, et cetera? Those are good questions. Those are definitely good questions. Mz.Polly. All right, I want to move this conversation forward. You know what I mean? I want to move forward from, where we've been at. You know what I mean? Is there anything that you want to add, or anything we taking this?
Since we're gonna move forward, like you're saying, I think we kind of heard about that. I think now what we want to talk about is more, or I like to talk about, it's kind of more of, do you think that moving forward. I don't think it ever go away because you're going to have people who, you know, believe what they believe when it comes to unions, how they are. But I would wonder if there was going to be some reconstruction to the guidelines of divorce, if you do get a divorce, or the guidelines of being married. Um, I wonder if there will be more benefits to actually being married. Because a lot of people don't see the benefits, other than like we said, and most of the benefits aren't for um, both sides. So I wonder if they will have some things like that in place. So I do wonder if you guys think that there will be. I think at some point there will be. But I don't know what you guys think.
No, I like Lola's comment. Right there.
Well, no, we're not. He's no longer here. I want to move the conversation forward. I appreciate everything that Ruthless Truth did bring to this panel. We appreciate it. I do. I really do. Salute to Sparta HQ Network. But I have to move on. We have a conversation that we must have tonight, and it is about marriage. You know what I mean? And our sister Christina Thompson said, if it was as hard to get married as it is to divorce, there'll be better decisions made. Oh man. You know what? You might have a definitely a big statement there. Maybe
I only
we should
bring
make
the
it hard
best.
to get married. Maybe we should increase the criteria, right? Maybe we should have more criteria in order to get married, right?
Right. I think that would help. I would think that would help people take it more seriously. But at the end of the day, like I said, what is it really? Like I said, I keep kind of like, what's the real purpose other than the guarantee? That's basically what they're hoping for. Oh, a guarantee that there will be consequences for you leaving me. Man, and at the end of the day, it shouldn't be. I actually, to some belief, I know we have children, things like that, and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like, it shouldn't be a consequence to separate from someone if you no longer see the value in that relationship. It doesn't make sense to stay in a relationship that's no longer serving a positive purpose. I'm not talking about people who want to hold on and all that. There are some people who just made the wrong choice, and yeah, you can try harder, but at the end of the day, it's you can't guarantee forever. And you can say I will do that, and if that's you, that's based on you as a person deciding not to quit. But saying you're not going to quit, it should not be dictated by an outsource out of this outside who tells you to pay a certain amount because you said this is crazy and toxic, or this is crazy and it's not what I thought it was, or whatever. Like, why is someone punishing you for making a decision? And at that point, it's like, I'll never do that, So I'm not against it. I'm just saying I think it needs to be constructed, or something needs to be evaluated with it as a whole, and that's all.
But isn't staying for the babies isn't that good enough?
Hey, I'm sorry. Hey, real quick, I don't mean to be rude. Thank you, everybody. I am getting ready to. I gotta go, so it's my time. All right.
Definitely, man. Thanks for coming up, Smitty. We appreciate you, bro.
You already know.
Okay. Bye.
Much respect to the family, Mz.Polly. As
yes,
always,
sir. Bye.
You already know.
Yeah, isn't staying for the kids good enough, Mz.Polly? Isn't that good enough to do? Right?
Oh, absolutely not. That's the worst reason ever.
Why not?
Stop putting them kids through that. They don't want to see y'all. Ain't nobody want to see y'all arguing and fighting on the sideline, trying to pretend you like each other. Y'all walk by each other, you rolling your eyes and shit. Ain't nobody doing it. Get the hell out of here. Take your ass on out of here.
But
Nobody want to see that.
Why? Here's my question, because this is something I don't understand, and I don't know, again, if this is based on where I live here in Canada, if I have a different outlook on it in general. So if I do, I apologize for a bias that I've grown up around. I don't understand the concept in this modern day, right, that I could really possibly not like you tomorrow. Like, I haven't even really searched you enough to know if I even like your face in the morning time. I'm just going to commit blindly to you. Like, where do we get off blaming the court system for what the court system is supposed to do, when the court system is simply looking at us and saying, hey, we wouldn't have a job if you would do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to know if you're going to like that person tomorrow morning when they ain't got no makeup, when their wig is off, when their drawers is on the floor, when the toilet seat is up, when you got to know that.
Whoa. That's a lot of variables right there. Hold on.
Brother, if we look at the things and then add cheating, and then add lack of communication, then add lack of attention, then add lack of foundation, then add in lack of accountability, then add in lack of responsibility. It's your responsibility, man or woman, or I should say man and woman, to know these things. And let's say by peradventure, some fluke on earth, y'all got to the altar or whatever you do to get married, and then you discover that. It may hurt, but sit down and have the conversation face to face and be like, yo, dude, ma'am, I don't want to have to, you know what I mean, act out of character, and you're pushing me to a place that I really don't want to be. What is good? Is this something that's always, this is just going to be you, and we going to have to, go to the dirt like this? Or is this going to change? Yes or no? Not all this, well, some days I get up and it's raining and I feel like this, or some days I go to bed on the right side and I feel like that. And even if that is the case, do you really have the intestinal fortitude to even change for the person that you said before you got to the altar? And this is why I solemnly agree that men shouldn't live with anybody that they're just boyfriend and girlfriend with, because this is where the fantasy starts happening. Because we ignore red flags, and then we get to court and it's the court's fault. The court's gonna make its money regardless. It's your job to make sure that you don't give them a job to make money off of you. And that's personally how I look at it. It like, forget hope, forget fantasy, forget how I met my beautiful wife and how I love my kids. I might be one of one. And Mz.Polly's right to say that. She said that earlier, that people can't take where they've been, bad or good, and use that to paint the picture for everybody. And I think that's very wise. And this is why we really got to do the work internally to be able to make sure that we're making headway, like we are progressive. Like, I don't know, like I just don't like taking losses. Like, maybe it's just my life journey and I've taken too many L's way before I met my wife. So I wasn't willing to take any more L's. So I was going to make sure that by the time she came around, that, hey, it's either we going to do this or we not, or, I'm going to make the changes in my life necessary to make sure that I don't have to be a risk to somebody. But like, why aren't we asking these hard questions? Why aren't we searching ourselves to make sure that we're not a risk? We're not another statistic in the court. We're not another contract breaker.
Because they don't want the answer. Because most of the time the answer is no. They don't want to hear that. They want the fantasy.
But the fantasy's not working out for them, Mz.Polly.
But that doesn't matter. And you know that. They don't care. Everybody wants the fantasy, so you pretend to play the game. And just because you know that there's going to be a loss, it's still, you just want most people are living for the moment of now, right? And I love Zen, and I love all the, hey, be in the moment, like enjoy the moment you're in. I'm all about that. But some people don't look past the moment they're in. They don't look past that. They're always thinking about just in this moment, and they don't care about what happens later. And I know there's men in this room and men everywhere else, or women too, who they hear me say these things and then they feel like attack on what they're doing, or they feel like what I'm saying is invalid. But I'm not talking about the ones who found a wife or having a great time with their wife and they will stay in it because they want to stay in it. Most people aren't doing that. Okay? Most people, yeah, people been together for a long time. They roll their eyes at each other. Yeah, fine, that's all. I give you saying. But there are some people who hate their husband so much, they try to go get them hurt. Why would I want to be in a situation where it's better to off you than to leave you? You hear that all the time.
Yep.
And yeah, it sounds wild, but there are people who go to the extreme. And the more that we have generations that don't think about reality as if it's real reality, you see these cases all the time. They just be out here just hurting each other physically all the time because they don't live in the same reality as everyone else. They think doing that is a TV show, a video game. It don't have real consequences.
Mm.
And these are the people we're talking
That's
about.
facts.
We're not talking about grown ass people. We're talking about people who are in their 20s. They ain't worried about that. That's real honest. And I understand we old and we grown and we trying to get our marriage. That's cool. I appreciate that. But that's not who's trying to get. Most people in their 30s is on their second marriage. Unless they still married. But most of them is not on their first. Let's be honest about that.
That's a fact.
So that's the truth. And no people, they out here, they on a different vibe. So if I understand a lot of y'all been, like I said, y'all ain't out here. Y'all ain't out here. You just got to remember that. Not saying you're not valid because I like your information. I think it's important to tell people there is hope. Give them hope that it could be better. But in their reality, is that it's not most people. And they on some other stuff.
And this is why I tell young men to mitigate risk.
I'm gonna just be 100% completely real, right? You know, I was in a faith movement for around 20 years, right? And for the most part, I would say out of that faith movement that I was in, that was Christian based, I would say 1 to 2% of the marriage that I seen, even with me being in a relationship myself and me going through the marriage counseling and me, you know, doing the nuptials and all that, I would say about 2% of the marriages were actually really good. The rest of them sucked. Terrible. They did not want to be together. They were staying there for kids, money, and all type of stuff. Or maybe it was in leadership, or maybe the church was helping them to stay together, or whatever else. Most of them sucked. They were terrible. Terrible. I would never tell my worst enemy to be in them. And you know why they're terrible? I'm gonna tell you why. And I keep telling people this, but we ignore, a lot of us ignore these things, and y'all ignore a lot of things I say, but it's cool. I always say, when it comes to relationships, right? Us as people part of diaspora, right? You could be part of the Caribbean, you could be in Canada like my man Conrad, you could be in Africa itself, whatever. We have never sat down in modern time to say, how do we want to do relationships? Forget the Bible, forget the Quran, forget Hinduism. I ain't trying to offend nobody. I really am not. Trust me, I'm not. Because I do believe in the Bible and all that. But we got to just say, forget all that, put all that to the side, forget monogamy, poly, all that, put it all to the side. How do we as the people want to do relationships? I feel like every other culture has it figured out. You know what I mean? Whether it's Asian culture, Middle Eastern culture, Caucasians, whatever, they have it figured out how they want to move and how they want to do it. And it seems like they could change the rules on their thing anytime they want. I looked at all these white celebrities. They've been married about 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And some of them they have Hollywood walks of fame and all types of stuff. But why are we so afraid? Why are we so afraid to say, can we just sit down as a people, stop listening to what everybody else is telling us, stop listening to what book or what person or what scripture or whatever else is telling us? Why can't we sit down and say, how we want to do relationships? We never have done that. We have not done that ever. Never. Especially in this country. It's never happened.
Well, you know what you just asked? You just asked people who are not united to be united. That sounds wild.
I understand that, Mz.Polly, but what I'm saying is it's a conversation that needs to happen. It needs to happen.
You know, it is what it is.
So that way, we could probably limit the divorce rate. Could probably go down, right? All these situations that you're talking about, Mz.Polly, with people trying to off their partner and all that can go down because
sabotage them too. That's another one because they think I'm extreme. Sabotage them too. You ever hear somebody sabotage you?
No, but Mz.Polly, let me say this, right? Let me say this, and I won't say I won't. I'll let y'all rock. Right. A lot of time marriages are like quicksand. It's easy to get in. It's hard to get out. And you're gonna need help for somebody to pull you out of that. Right. So you know what I mean? And we're not just talking about it all being bad. We don't think that, like this probably said, for those who are doing well and y'all don't have any problems, or if y'all do have problems, y'all able to work it out. Salute. You giving people hope, and we definitely lead that hope in love and in relationships and everything else, right? We need that. But that ain't the majority. Majority is that marriages suck. Okay? That's the majority. Divorce rate shows that. All right? It's not, it ain't going well. It ain't looking good. Okay? If it was looking good, then the statistics would be different. Right? Then we could actually be more supportive and say more good things. But and as Mz.Polly said, for those who are not in a dating market, we don't really know what's really going on. We're assuming, we're watching YouTube clips, we're asking our single friends, but we don't really know what's going out there. I got a family member right now who really think that they're gonna make it to marriage, and I hope that they do. Really hope that they do. But they have a fantasy in their mind. And as much as I try to help them to get out of the fantasy, they won't. So they're gonna do what they gotta do. And it is what it is. I'm gonna be there to help them. But I understand they're living in a fantasy. It's all good. Right? It's all good. Right? So those of you who are married, help the people not be in a fantasy, man. Help those who are single. They need your help. They need guidance. They need to be shown what really is going on. Because that's another problem, right? And I'm going to point it out right now. Most people in marriages, y'all lying. That's really the issue. Y'all be lying to these people. You be selling them a dream. And then when they get married, looking at you like you crazy and ask you, why didn't you tell me this was going to happen? You know what I mean? You ain't telling me she was going to do this. You ain't telling me who's gonna do that. I didn't know women act like that. I didn't know men act like this. What the hell is menopause? You know what I mean? Why he gotta go to this treatment because he gotta check his thing because he may have cancer? You know what I mean? What is going on? Dang, I ain't know he was gonna get depressed because he lost his mom. I ain't know she was gonna get mad because she lost her dad. I ain't know none of this shit was gonna happen. Y'all don't be preparing people for the real. And that's why people get mad at y'all. You know what I mean? That's why they get mad at y'all. And Mr. Brian, we know you keep it as real as you can, and we appreciate you. You know what I mean? But most of your peers don't. They don't. They lie. And they lie about what they're going through. Right? They lie.
Oh yeah, okay? Like that. We ain't never had no cheating.
I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna say this, and I'm definitely clipping this show. Married people are the biggest liars in the world. I'm gonna say it right now. They are.
Oh damn.
I said it. Yep, I said it. I ain't being nice tonight. They're the biggest liars in the world. Biggest liars in the world. And I land there. Y'all can do what y'all want.
Wow. So
that's our pocket.
let me throw this up, right? Because in my humble opinion, if it's a man that has to propose in a heterosexual relationship, that means there is a greater weight of responsibility on the man's shoulders to make sure that his life has already aligned with what he's reaching for. Is that fair to say?
Hey, bro. Go ahead, Cook. Go ahead.
If that is fair to say, then I agree with a sentiment that, not that it's been said on this show, I agree with a sentiment that a man should not be looking for marriage until he can adequately take care of himself. Now, what do I mean? Young men that ask me about either the stance of marriage or getting prepared for marriage, I always ask them one thing, is can you fully substantiate your own life? The things you want to do, the way you want to look, the way you want to dress, where you want to live, etc. If those things are not in order, then taking on a wife, having kids, having a family is going to be tumultuous in different seasons at different times. And you, as Mz.Polly said earlier, you cannot dictate which season and which times is going to be less hard than the other or it's going to be easily acceptable in your mind. Again, I sincerely believe that you've got to mitigate risk as a man. And that also comes to an understanding that you may not be built mentally or spiritually or emotionally for marriage. And that is the truth. Same thing for some of our women counterparts. Some of y'all may not be built for marriage. And that is the truth. You may be built to have friends. You may have been built for some of the relationships and boyfriends you already been through. But talking about marriage, expecting a fantasy, you are setting yourself up for failure. If you're not going to have the hard conversation to say, I will not accept this when it's 2 days old, then you're putting yourself in a position to fail. In other words, you're playing checkers when you should have been playing chess. And sometimes the right chess move is to actually admit that I want something that I'm not ready for, and I may not be suitable for it. That is the truth. I'm sorry I done wasted your time because I wasn't ready for something that I wanted. And I had no understanding because on one hand, I didn't seek the knowledge, but on the other hand, there was nobody to give the knowledge. And what I was hearing wasn't working out well. So if I sincerely believe, again, men everywhere, young, middle-aged, 40 years old, 50 years old, if you are not in a position where you are able to substantiate life as in a marriage and a relationship to that degree, you have to be very mindful and admit to yourself that you might not be suitable for it. And that's the first conversation we've got to understand about ourselves. Am I suitable for what I want? I want to be a CEO. I want to run a Fortune 500 company. Okay, do I have the qualities, the discipline, and the response, the character necessary to do that? Like, are we out there? Like, it's a hard question, and you may feel, oh man, I'm not worth it. No. It's not to say somebody's not worth it. A man is not worth it. A woman is not worth it. No, but you're reaching for something you're ultimately going to destroy. That's the conversation I believe we refuse to have. I appreciate Mz.Polly. Mz.Polly could come to me with an endeavor and say, you know what, Conrad, I think you'd fit good in here. But what Mz.Polly is counting on me to say is, you know what, thank you for considering me, but I'm not right for this right now. You might have to go ahead and leave me and maybe we tap in at a later date, or I'm only good at this part right here, so I can't really come up to higher, but thank you for considering me. Are we humble enough to admit that we're not the one? Everybody's trying to be somebody's one.
Well, I know you said that, but like you're saying,
we are not willing to admit that, and I gotta play this meme because I just said no, so I gotta play the no meme. Yes,
but
no.
I think nobody wants to say that though. Like I've done it before. I think, like I said, I've gone and I've met someone, talked to them, and I'm like, listen, like you cool and everything, but like this is not going to work because you don't have the qualities that would make it okay for you to be in this situation, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone feels like they had like. It's, you know what's unfortunate about living in this society of America is that it's not okay to not fit the mold of a successful American. It's not okay to be a garbage man. It's not okay to be just a manager at a restaurant or a manager at McDonald's. It's not okay to be normal. You have to be above average or better, or you are worthless. And that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And that's in relationships too. If you're not the top husband or you do all this stuff for your wife or you got to prove all these things, and most people can't even hold the candle to half that crap. We're not all meant to be elite. And that's okay. Just be okay with being who you are because you're great at something. It's just not this.
Nope, that ain't good enough. That ain't good enough. Nope. They got to be a baller. He got to be 6 foot tall. He got to drive not just a Benz but a Maybach. And
Oh wow,
he got to love his mama, and he got to go to church too. He got to do all that.
right. He got to know how to have have a good time in the bed, but not being with too many
Yep.
people. Then you got it's too
Yeah.
much. Too much.
Yeah, exactly. And she
Same
she
thing.
can't listen. She only can have one child, right? And if it's a masculine child, he got to know how to play the piano. If it's a
Oh
feminine child, he
Lord,
got to play the guitar. And on
it's
top of that,
crazy.
she got to have her own money, but she don't need to have her own money because you have to pay for literally everything, even things that not even your expenses, or things that you shouldn't be responsible for. You should have to pay for. But this is what, and she has to also, cook, um, clean, and then she can never get sick, and she always got to smile no matter what you
Who
do.
are these
And no matter how bad your
superheroes?
jokes are, no matter how bad your jokes are, she still got to laugh at them.
Who
Um,
are these
I
superheroes? I
got
just
more. I
want to know
got
who's
more. I
part
got
of the
more.
Marvel cast. What the
You know
hell
what
is
I
I
mean?
this?
got more. I got more. I got more. Right? I got more. And this is why, you know what I mean? And I want to elaborate on the point that I made. The reason I say that married people lie the most is just because married people are not going to tell you the ins and outs of what's going on in their marriage. They're just not going to tell you. They're going to tell you different things they may want you to hear, but they're not going to tell you what really is really going on. Right? And I think that is an issue that people have. People want to know what's really going on. They don't want, because they see the divorce rate, they see the people breaking up, they see the divorces, they see all this other stuff, they see the turmoil, the things that's going on. They're like, yo, why all y'all people's over here, having all these problems in marriages? Like, what's really going on? They want the real. And then when they ask married people start, saying all these, stories and all these rhymes and all these Aesop, stories and tales and whatever. And a cow jumped over the moon and all this other stuff. And it's like, look, can you tell me what's really going on? Why did your wife not like you? Okay. Why did your husband come home late? Tell me what's really going on. You know what I mean? But we're not getting that. Right? So because people are not getting that, that's why they don't want to get married. That's why they don't want the risk of having a divorce or to go through a prenup and all that. They don't want to take the risk. They just don't. But go ahead, family. Y'all can shoot. Go ahead.
No, man, hey, to y'all guys was hitting on that. Like, you know what the thing is because, and I at one point I had to face this within myself, where it's just like, are you willing to be honest to the point where you can admit that you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know you are here? So I think this is what scares people too, is really and truly is because they got into a situation, whether it's a job, marriage, whatever, and now they have, like, it's kind of transparent or apparent to everybody else that, this person is not qualified for the position, but they're here. They're not doing the greatest job, but we also can't fire them. And now it's up to this person to admit, like, I overreached and I overstepped, and I'm not that person. And that's hard to come back from. It's hard to come back from the fact that I thought I could have been, I thought I knew what it took and knew what it meant to be a faithful guy, but I'm not that guy. Or I haven't always been that guy. I thought I knew what it meant to be a dutiful wife, but I'm not that woman, or at least I wasn't always that woman. And when I say I wasn't always that woman, I mean, I just started doing that for the last 3 months straight because it finally clicked one day. Like, let me give you guys some transparency as we're talking about it. For a big part of me, I didn't know the true essence of selfless love. I thought as long as I went to work, came home, made sure that, there's money there for the bills, do this, do that, do a little bit here, do a little bit of here, that I was good. And then my first daughter died. And the worst part about her dying is not even the fact that she died. Well, I mean, it's bad. But sorry. But you know what really hurt is, and it's funny how, and that's why I always tell people, like, you got to respect life. Because if you don't respect life, life will happen in a way where you get that same oomph back. The morning when my daughter passed, nobody was with me in the hospital. guys hear what I said? I got
Yes, we
married
did.
thinking I knew
We did.
how to love. I got married thinking I knew what it was to be selfless. I got married thinking I knew what it was to actually care and actually love for people beyond what the type of love that you want to give out. And it wasn't until my daughter passed and nobody was there to comfort me in that moment, when the first time I can actually squeeze my daughter is because she's lifeless and she's not feeling no pain. That's when it hit me. And I started asking myself, how many more times am I going to face a bad or hard situation before I get it into my head that I need to be who I say I am at all times, even when I might want to just sit back, kick up my feet and say, I'm tired. Because that's the fact of the matter is, or in my opinion, that is a fact of a matter. We reach for things, we reach for marriage, we reach for jobs, we try to reach for riches, and we don't even have an understanding of what this is about to take from us on a regular basis. And like y'all was just saying, we want it all. We want the Benjamins, but we want to be the bishop, but we want to be the first lady, but we want to be this, we want to be all of it. And we have no idea on which part of us we're going to have to sacrifice the most, if not all of us. And that is the truth of the matter. Any relationship, let's not use the word marriage, any relationship that we reach for needs all of us. Again, I'll repeat that. Any relationship that we reach for, it needs all of us. If I'm going to be a brother to Mr. Best and I'm going to say, I am my brother's keeper, I cannot say that within a context. And then when he reaches out, I say, hey, brother, you're reaching out in a context that I didn't exactly sign up for. I didn't tell him that. If I tell Mz.Polly that I'm going to be a good brother, and while she's around me, she can expect to be protected, but then a situation happens and I'm like, yo, that's not the context of my protection. And I never told her that. Did I overreach or did I overextend, or was I just playing the game? And this is where most people, both men and women, are, because we're thinking that somebody is going to be relatable and true to what they said. And when you check it at the end of the day, there's always one situation that hits and all words and different things. Do not get tired of being judged with that inadequate. I don't need Brother Dark Lake, blessings to you, brother. I shouldn't need Dark Lake to come and hold me accountable if I'm holding myself accountable. He's just an extension of accountability when I meet him. He should be able to expect from me that I'm going to live in transparency and honesty, especially for what I commit to him, Best, or anybody in the chat, or Mz.Polly. And that, and in my opinion, and I regret every day that my daughter had to pass for me to actually, this to sink home. That you can either live outside of what you're saying, and what you're saying will come back and hit you in the face and check you, and you're not gonna like it. And to me, that's what a lot of this divorce is. It's what they reached for coming back around. And it doesn't matter how it hits, because some of these women, we don't talk about it often, but some of these women that go and want to push for divorce, you see them on their TikToks crying out, I thought I was going to be in a better position. I thought I was going to get all this money. I thought I was going to do this. I thought I was going to do that. And now I'm living out the backside of my car. He thought that as soon as his wife left him, he's going to be back out in the streets, hitting and quitting. And where is he? In a homeless shelter. Go to work at the day, working 12 hours, going to homeless shelter at the night. And in some cases, maybe not all, but in too many cases, it's our word coming back to hit on us because we didn't have the extent to match our intent. I mute my mic.
Can you repeat that one more time, Conrad, if you don't mind? The last sentence you just said.
We didn't have the extent to match the intent.
You mind elaborating on that real quick? Yeah, I think that's kind of deep, but I don't fully understand.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we even continue,
Yeah.
I just want to say my condolences to you and your family.
Yeah.
I mean, much love to you. I lost my nephew 2 weeks after my birthday. That anniversary is coming up. So losing a child in the family is a hard thing to deal with, man. For real, for real. And you never get over it. So salute to you, man, and thank you for telling your testimony, bro. We definitely need to hear that. Y'all can continue your dialogue, and we'll go forward.
Yeah, I would like to say that too. Condolences, man. I'm just basically, I wasn't gonna come on the show tonight, but I was just listening to you speak this whole time. At first, you said something about marriages I wanted to question you about, but then when I started listening to you speak more, I'm like, this guy is like speaking a word tonight. You feel me? So I was like, let me just come up here and like listen to what he's saying because on all levels, I just think that you're speaking some deep stuff right now. The last sentence that you said that we don't have the extent to match our intent. I believe that's what that was. If you mind elaborating on that a little bit, I know that you were done. You said your mic is muted, but if you mind
Yeah.
elaborating on that a little bit, that would help me a lot.
I mean, we've been talking about it and just in a simple way, because I don't want to be too long-winded. That's kind of my forte sometimes, but we reach for things because we have an idea mentally of it. You know, because we've had the time to sit down and think about it and mull it over, and I put my spin on how I'm going to become a CEO, how I'm going to become a boss, how I'm going to do this. And then I start walking into that frame, even in something as simple as content creation. You see somebody else's platform. Hey, yo, I think I can do that. And you got some people that may even be encouraging you. Yeah, you got that. Then you get into the work of the business. And now the idea of what you want is gut checking you if you can actually stick this out and do what you said you want. Do you have enough strength? Are you focused? Are you resolute to reach, to put in the work to where you're trying to go? That's it. Do you have enough extent? Do you have enough focus? Do you have enough resolve? On the day when it's not working out the best for you, are you going to stick it out? Are you going to continue going on? Because you made a promise to yourself. The thing is most of us, we didn't break the promise to the person that we may have cheated on, that we may have lied to, that we may have backstabbed. We broke the promise first to ourselves because we told ourselves we weren't going to be that person in some way, shape, or form. That's the extent. The intent is whether I have the integrity to actually stay resolute to what I said I was going to do. And so when we look at this modern day foundation of what a marriage or relationship could be, there's a lot of people saying what they won't accept. There's a lot of people, what's a red flag? What's this? But nobody's saying, okay, I have a mind to get there, but really and truly, I don't know how to get there. Is there somebody that can help me get there? Am I in it for the long haul? Like, am I really in it for the long haul? When my wife, I don't know, my wife, when I see some of the things she went through emotionally and when she changed, bro, if I tell you that, I understood every part of what she was going through and how she was feeling, and I was a Superman, I was the Clark Kent for how she was going through it as a mother who lost a child in times when she didn't really want to hug or she didn't want to be intimate, that I understood that context, I would be lying to you. That's why I said my daughter's death revealed so much of what I didn't understand about true unconditional giving love. You don't get to dictate the terms on how you love, especially if you tell somebody you love them, because what they automatically might assume is that, hey, you are going to be in it for the long haul, and I'm not even going to say what the long haul is. Do I have the extent? Do I have the extent to match the intent? I intend to be a good brother. I intend to be a good father. I intend to be a good citizen. But there might be a situation that comes across and changes. Is it going to change my mind? Is it going to shift me from my foundation? Or is it going to shift me from my principles? And this is why I'm saying it behooves men. And I'm not dismissing what women are doing at large or nauseum. What I am saying though is, first, if we as men can sit there and take the time to just look at us, no woman, no sexual allure, just you look at you and you ask yourself some of these questions, you'll see that you might just be in a better place taking your time to get to something. And if it doesn't show up the way you want it, then that is completely fine. But you gotta make sure you know what you're trying to reach for and that you have everything within you to push yourself to get there. I didn't, bro.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, man. Bro, like life ain't easy, man. Marriage ain't easy. Loving somebody when they've broken your fallacies. There's been a lot of times where I sometimes come home from work and I'm looking at my wife and she looking at me and I'm just like, yo, bro, like I love you, but yo, you're part of you is making me question that right now. I have to go sit down and talk with her and say, okay, babe, like this is real talk. I don't even like how I'm feeling because this is not what I signed up for. And when I say this is not what I signed up for, I mean, I didn't see this hitting us. What is going on? And I'm saying that because I'm willing to listen to you because you're going to say some things to me that I know I probably won't agree with and I probably won't like. But I've always been told that a man has to be the one to lead. So if I have to hear what you're saying to lead us out of this, then I'm going to let you know I'm willing to put in that work because I made a promise to you, again, extent. Now, my intent is to make sure that we get there. Are we going to get there? Or are you going to sit back and let me and just see if I'm going to continue to keep going? Are we really going to work together? Are we really going to build together? I would be lying if I said I was a well put together man when my wife met me. I was not even close. But one thing I had to make sure I do is that every year she saw me level up for this whole family. And if 10K is what we needed a year to make sure for me to level up, then I got to make sure I find a way to get that as legally as possible. I promised her that I would love her. She didn't come to me and tell me, oh, do you gonna promise to love me? She never said that to me. I said that to her. Now, based on the type of men that I surround myself with, the type of men that I try to be for my family and for my community, I do not have a choice but to make sure that what I said I was going to be, I groom myself in that fashion every day. My wife can't groom me. My pastor can't groom me. The church can't groom me. I have to do a certain amount of grooming on myself. That's where that intent comes to get you to your extent. And that's hard work. But sometimes you got to be by yourself to be able to do that and do it freely. A lot of times we're in the process of growing and going somewhere, and then we tie ourselves down with a relationship or we tie ourselves down with somebody else's baggage. And it's like, yo, dude, like, yeah, we get frustrated. Like, it's like Kevin Hart said, man, like, what you talking about? Like, I don't need this right now. Like, I'm going through stuff. But no, you were already going through it. You didn't need to put more on your back. You needed to take some stuff off your back because you're still in the position of building yourself to get to what your extent is. And that's important for everybody to resolute that within themselves. My extent is going to look different from yours. You know what I mean, brother?
Yeah, I actually want to ask you something, Conrad, but I'm sorry, Mr. Bestintheworld, did you have something to say, or Mz.Polly?
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm
I'm gonna let you brothers build, and then I'll let Mz.Polly either we'll close it out or we'll extend the conversation. It'll be based upon her, and we're gonna go from there because we're at the 2-hour mark. So
Yeah.
you brothers.
Yeah.
And how you doing, Mz.Polly? By the way, how you doing?
Okay.
Cool. And thank you, Mr. Bestintheworld, for having me on the show. But there's not much I wanted to say. What I wanted to question you about, Conrad, because I was intently like listening to you, because I actually think you cooking kind of hardcore tonight, to be honest. But I was reflecting upon the things you were talking about, extent, intent, and kind of like understanding in the subject matter of relationships and marriage, kind of like understanding what you know what your intent is, but understanding the aspects of extent, right? To know if you are really willing to do what it takes to make something work. That's the kind of sense I'm getting from everything you're saying right now. What I wanted to ask you in regards to that is because there seems to be this atmosphere of, you know, men or women, you got to know this about yourself before you enter a situation. So thinking about it, so like I just got a job today, right? And throughout about,
Hey,
I would say,
congratulations, man.
thank you, I appreciate it. Throughout, I would say about 2 years of study, I finally got a job in the career that I was aiming for. Because I was studying but working a whole lot of like side gigs to support my study, and I finally got that job today. And I asked the hiring manager, well, in the interview, because they did like a series of 2 to 3 interviews, and I think they were going to hire like maybe 12 candidates out of like 3,000 or something. And I asked the hiring manager, like, what was it about the interview that let you know that I would be a good fit for this? And they told me it was when I had told them what one of my faults was. And what I told them one of my faults is that before in the past, I would not pursue something if I didn't think I knew how to do it. So when I went to film school, I had kind of learned that, well, you kind of learn as you do things, you know. In film school, I am the director, or I'm the sound guy, or I'm the light guy, or whatever, or the editor. And you have a vision for what you want to do with the team. But you really don't understand how to adapt to a difference of circumstance of that day on set until you're in it, right? And then you could learn from the mistakes you made, and then learn how to work with the team to get the job done, no matter what the trial is at the time. And I juxtaposition that lesson I learned in film school with this new job that has nothing to do with film. But I told them, I was like, that was one of my faults in the past, is that there was a lot of things in my life that I didn't pursue because I knew I didn't know how to do it. But if I gathered the information from film school that, well, no, actually, I should still pursue it and I'll learn as I go, then I think that, you know, there was a lot of heartaches and hardships that I could have avoided in my life. So that's what I shared with them in my interview of one of my faults, that before I did not pursue things if I wasn't fully confident that I knew how to do it. But now that's changed. And even though I'm not fully confident that I can do something, I'm still going to pursue it and adopt this mentality that I will learn as I go. So my question to you, Conrad, based on everything you just said, if you could juxtaposition everything you just said about relationships and marriage with what I just said just now, is there any room for that example? Like in a relationship or marriage, learning as you go? Like, is there any grace that comes with that? Like your example, you know, you didn't fully understand what it was like to pursue selfless love until your daughter regrettably passed away. But in a relationship and marriage, shouldn't there be some type of grace or an idea that you as the woman or me as the man and vice versa is learning as we go, right? Or do you think I'm kind of off? And if you don't understand the question, just let me know and I can try to reiterate.
No, I was rocking with you the whole time. I heard everything and I got everything that you said loudly and clearly. Now, so I'm address their question and then move from there. With especially within the example you gave, which is brilliant and magnificent, and salute to you, for moving to that next level. You see, the thing is about extent to intent and intent to extent. It's not black and white. Right? I painted it in more of a black and white scenario, but it's not black and white. That is going to look different for every person. The foundation of it is that we still must have something. We must have a resolute focus to say, I want to get better, or I want to reach this. How am I going to do that? Because I could say that now and not get everything that I need to get where I'm going now. Proverbs says it like this, where he who gives himself unto counsel, and it's to paraphrase it, he who gives himself unto wise counsel then becomes wise. Do I get wise in one session? No, I've got to sit down time and time again. Now, it's in the context of relationship and marriage. This is the one thing I can say I did. I had the thought on, and I made sure I did the work necessary, which was finding the woman that I would be able to have that grace with, that even though I don't have it rightly fit like together as I need to be able to show that type of love, that she would help me to grow into that. And I am going to get spiritual. I am going to go to the Bible for this to provide context on my thought, because I am a Christian. So the reason I say that is because the context, spiritually speaking, of a woman is to nurture the home and to define in the home what love is. If she's never been trained, as Titus chapter 2 says, by a woman who can show love and express love and grace, then she in herself will not know how to do that, nor will she have the patience to do that. So even down to my wife, as much as I still had things to learn, I chose somebody diligently in my vetting process that had the foundation necessary for that. The issue we're facing collectively as men, and now I'm going to take myself outside of the context of my marriage, is we don't know what is the acceptable path to question the foundation of said woman. Going back to, just to make it succinct, for the aspect of growing within a relationship, learning these things, and maybe not being totally equipped to be able to get to the end goal that I want. Should there be grace to be able to grow, maturate, and to get to that? 100%. But would I be telling you the truth if I said every person is going to have that quality within them to provide you that space and stay with you in that space? Nah, man. And I've been through that. You get what I mean?
Mm.
And that's the unfortunate part. Like, I actually walked through that, and then I stayed by myself for about a year to make sure that I had a clean mental scope, emotional scope, spiritual scope, and physical scope to be able to say, okay, if I'm going to say the next one is the next one, knowing where I am today, then I've got to at least get certain junk out of the way. And sometimes people can't give grace to you to learn and maturate because that's just not within them, and they don't desire it to be in them, which is a big part of the failing dating landscape, relationship landscape, marriage landscape today. A lot of people got hooked on the Disney fairy tale and the marriage that they, and I mean, maybe it was a blessing in disguise because I ain't never seen good marriages. I've been always exposed to the nitty-gritty details So when I see them showing up in their Sunday's best, it's unfortunate that I know the real them behind the scenes. Or when I see them in the mall, or when I see them in the office, I know what's going on behind the scenes. So it's just like, we literally have to start with our foundation into who we are, and understanding and accepting that where I'm trying to go, I can give grace, but I can't give grace to everybody. And this is where things become finite, because the people that gave you grace to learn through your studies, through different jobs, even look at this, brother, what you just said. They exuded a type of grace for you to be able to say what your fault was. Now is a great interview question. And I love the way you were able to articulate.
Texting me. Go ahead.
Say that again.
Someone was texting me as you were speaking.
Sorry.
Can you repeat that?
Sorry. No, I was saying that even within the context of your interview, there was the question that they asked you and the answer that you gave them, there was grace there for that. And but you see, the thing is, they were looking for that. You get what I'm saying? So somebody looking for that, they'll give you, you know what I mean? They'll willingly provide you the grace necessary for you to maturate. And that's a big key, bro. My wife gives me and has that grace to help me and allow me the freedom to maturate, even when it's frustrating.
And that's really what was on my mind when you just said. And thank you so much, Conrad, for that thought-provoking answer that you gave me. I really appreciate that.
Love you, brother.
Mz.Polly, have you experienced a relationship where, like, I know it says 2 minutes and 13 seconds, but like, if you can give me like a quick synopsis, have you experienced a relationship with a man where it's like, you know, you both understood what you needed to, the intent you needed to have and the extent you needed to go, but you both allowed each other space to make mistakes and learn?
Yeah. I'll say. I mean, I give people space all the time to be great and make mistakes. It's just part of what it is. That's your process. I don't mind that. I probably don't get as much grace as everybody else, depending on what the situation was. That's just what it is. I'm aware of that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think most of the time, you know, yeah. Most of the time, I will say I probably get less grace, but that's okay.
Say that one more time.
I would say I probably get less grace than I give, for the most part.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
You get less grace than you give.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
Sometimes it could be they hold me to a different standard. So, you know, setting the bar kind of high, you're not allowed to fall. Just what it is. You know, it comes with territory, depends on what situation, but that can happen a lot. And I think that happens a lot for the girls who try to do in this atmosphere that we're in now, so I'll start with that. You don't have to do a lot to get a man to find you very valuable. To just be real honest. And the thing with that is, it almost seems unrealistic to them. So anything that, let's say you don't get grace to that. Let's say you're trying to do the right thing, you know, you do all this positive energy, showing them what it is to be treated properly. And let's just say one day you slip up and did something wow, like something happened. I don't know. Maybe you, I don't give me anything. And not crazy, but just, you know, you messed up, you know, you did something maybe, and it was actually, you got a little loud, you know, got irritated and was, you know, nasty or something. Well, they're quicker to tell you, oh, see, I knew you had that in you.
Mm.
It was fake. You don't get as much grace.
Mm.
So women who out there kind of like that, they'll know what I'm talking about. Because you set the bar so high, even though you didn't mean to. Because like I said, right now in this atmosphere, you don't gotta do too much for a man to be pretty much smitten, be honest.
You know what that kind of
And
reminds me of? I had cussed out this guy last week because I met this guy somewhere. I forgot where I met him. But he was talking to me about how he has like 6 kids, and 2 of the kids are responsible. No, he said 1 kid is irresponsible, but the 5 are like they're on their shit basically, right? And the problem kid, he doesn't make good decisions. He's irresponsible and on drugs and da 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 da. He's told me that since his 5 kids are responsible, right? He's gonna leave them nothing in an inheritance. That he's gonna leave the kid who's irresponsible, the 5th kid, everything because he's irresponsible and is gonna need the help. I told him, I said, would you please stop being a nigga? What you're saying reminded me of that is because I feel like people who people see are confident or have a good head on their shoulders, they don't help them because, oh, they'll be all right.
yeah, that's the treatment. Yep, always.
You see what I'm saying? And that's not the case. I told him, I said to him, I was like, listen, you don't know it's the ones who are responsible are going to be in their life. Just because they're responsible, it doesn't mean that they're not going to experience hardship. Now, if you give them the inheritance, right, split up the money for them, if their sibling, the 5th child, is in any trouble, they'll be responsible enough to build on what you gave them to help that sibling. But if you give that irresponsible sibling all the money, they're going to blow through the money and be irresponsible like they are.
But most people look at it
And
like that.
if your other kids ever need help, the responsible ones, if they ever need help, they're not going to get help because your irresponsible kid blew through all the fucking money. And then this guy ended up trying to fight me because. So I just had to leave. I had to leave. I get the, the hatred for Dark Light. That's what I got in this guy because I just told him what I thought was the truth. I told him I just said stop being a nigga because to me that's some nigga shit.
Well, I think that you keep saying that, but sorry, but like you said, that's how most people view it. Like there is no reward for doing the right thing. There isn't. There is no reward for doing the right thing. Only you get is to feel some kind of self-worth for doing all this hard work. You're not given any prize for doing the right thing. And it feels like everyone who's doing the wrong thing is always rewarded. And you feel that kind of in relationships. And that's really hard to see. Like, I'm not cheating, I'm doing all this stuff, and this person still leaves because they didn't really like me in the first place like that. Or you doing all this energy and you don't get it. And for Black women, I'll say this before I hang up the co-hearers, I think a lot of them, we want to be called strong all the time. And that's stop. We don't like that. And if I'm speaking for y'all, I don't give a fuck what y'all talk about. Y'all don't like that shit. Because what happens is no one wants to help you because they think you're okay. Even though you're trying, look, I got this money, I'm doing this. But no one will help you because exactly what he just said. Why would they help you when you look like you're fine? That's why that strong Black woman, I think throw that in the trash. Throw it in the trash. So it's not You know, we do. That's what it's like. There's no way to kind of fix that because it's just like that's the mentality thing. They rather help. I bet you right now, there's a woman out there right now who y'all think is the most unattractive, crazy woman, but I bet you she get all the niggas because she look like she need help. She look like she need help. She look like she need help. They go help her. They ain't gonna help you. So
Hey,
I'll leave it at that and be out.
I have to go. Thank you, Miss Polly, for sharing that. Mr. Best in the World, as again, man. This is the show to come to for the thought-provoking conversations that actually matter. So I just appreciate you allowing me on the panel, man, all the time. And Conrad, I gotta say, man, just whatever you was talking about tonight, just keep talking about it on your show, man. Just keep talking. Like, just keep going. Just keep doing it. It's so much drama and bullcrap on YouTube. To hear someone like you kind of like pour out your heart, so to speak, or your what you feel is pertinent in your soul to speak about, like, I think that's important. So keep doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? No matter what anybody says. I was affected by what your words today. And I hope that the chat and everybody watching in YouTube land was affected too. Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you, brother. I really
All
appreciate the love, and trust me, we gonna keep going, brother. And same to you, man. I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you,
thank
bro.
you.
If nobody
Thank you,
didn't
man.
tell you that today, we proud of you over here. You go get it, boy. You go get it, my G.
You and my mom told me that, so I appreciate it.
I'm mad
Okay.
proud of you, homie. Get it.
All right. God bless you guys. I gotta bounce. God bless.
Everybody.
Continue to talk. Peace.
God bless,
And we
bro.
got,
Thanks for
listen,
coming through.
100 watts, cute and broke equals you got a husband. That's what that equals. That's what that equals. In this society, you got a whole man.
Mz.Polly, you just gave me a show idea for episode 14. And we
You
will
better
talk
write
about
it
this
down.
much later. But Mz.Polly, I'm gonna let you close it out. And Conrad, if you have your closing statements, go ahead, and we'll go from there. And I'll close this thing out.
I mean, no, go ahead, Polly. My
Oh
bad.
no, I don't got nothing else to say. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I ain't got nothing else to say either. I was about to say, much love, peace, and chicken grease. You know what I mean? Like, real talk, y'all don't even know. I do. Maybe I do have something to say in this quickly. It's just, y'all don't even know how special you are. Everybody in the chat, Polly, Mr. Best, I know Dark Lake left, Ruthless that was up here, Smitty. Y'all don't even know how special you are. And I really have a growing appreciation for each and every single one of you. There'll be another day when I can expound upon that in detail, but I really appreciate y'all. And the thing that gets me is somebody told me years ago, like over 10 years ago. So you'll get to a place, Conrad, one day where you appreciate people that you long to see, but you can't reach them easily. And it's funny how that day has happened now with meeting all you in this YouTube space. So I really appreciate all of y'all. I love y'all. I pray for you guys every day, whether you ask me to or not. And that's all. That's my closing statements.
All right.
Definitely. 100 watts, man. Hey. You know what I mean? Sorry, bro, but we got to close it down, man. But we'll be back on something. We're gonna be mixing it up again on episode 14. In the Scorched Earth, we definitely will cover marriage at a different time in a different space. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna do that. With that being said, you know what I mean? Yeah. We enjoy y'all for coming through for Evaluation of Love episode 13. You know what I mean? And we definitely appreciate everybody for showing up. With that, we are out. Later, y'all.
All right.
Peace.